Hello. Ensign Creighton here. I am the communications officer of the starship Aegis, and I'll be here to brief you on the channel today. The GM in the Great Barrier broadcasts tabletop games using the Star Trek Adventures First Edition 2D20 engine by Modiphius. Today, we are broadcasting Star Trek Adventures Aegis, our campaign set aboard the titular Daedalus-class vessel and your home among the stars. Our game is set in the era of the prequel series Enterprise, during and beyond the events of its later seasons. You don't necessarily need to have watched the series to understand what's going on, but it certainly wouldn't hurt. If this is your first time on the channel, then you'll notice you start accruing Quatlus, our local channel points. You can use these to influence the game in all sorts of interesting ways, increasing or decreasing the difficulty of tasks our players will have to roll, presenting tokens of momentum or threat that the players and the GM can spend in-game, or even creating new story advantages or complications which may twist the adventure in new, entertaining directions. You can even have the GM voice an NPC line if you want. If you want to earn Quatlus faster, you can follow, subscribe, or even just accrue points passively by keeping up with their streams. If you want to learn more about the channel, then there are a whole series of commands you can type in chat using the exclamation mark and then the phrases listed here, which will let you pull up our full archives, keep up with our community, and support the channel. We hope you enjoy our games and that you follow our crew here on Twitch and YouTube. If you like it enough to support the channel and have resources to spare, then you can subscribe to us here on Twitch or support us on Ko-Fi. Either way, we hope you enjoy the show. We'll have you transferred over to the game shortly.
Quick,
Okay,
everybody duck.
Yep, alright, we are live now. So, welcome aboard, everybody. This is your GM in the Great Barrier. And we are coming back with Star Trek Adventures Aegis. Let's see, as we get the stream going and I move things around, I realized a couple things need to be changed. First and foremost, let's make sure that our cast members are all visible because Craig has returned. Welcome back, Craig.
Hey.
Hey.
Also, Panda will no longer be taking center screen as their very ably handled guest GMing stint has finished. Thank you again, Panda.
Thank you.
Let's see, with episode 8 in the books, we are about to start with episode 9, the Unhappy Ones. So I'm just going to get the stream going here. Quick programming. Well, I'll save it for the archive since it's more relevant for them. Oh, I suppose one quick programming note. There's a possibility we may be off on Saturday, or that we may be doing something slightly different. This will be contingent upon a few discussions, things figured out. I will keep you posted. So I would highly suggest just follow our socials, and that'll be the best way to keep up to date. Alright, so let's see. Everybody all set? Hearing yes, or hearing no objection, I'm going to presume as such. Oh, wait. Before I do, update my threat counter.
Boo.
There we go. All right. Welcome, brave souls. I am your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are back with Star Trek Adventures Aegis. We are coming in today with our ninth episode of the season, The Unhappy Ones. So we hope that you enjoy what's to come, particularly as we enter our spooky season episode for Aegis. So this is going to be hopefully quite enjoyable for horror fans. If anyone feels squeamish, then you will not be judged for needing to sit something out here. Let's see. Before we get started, just a couple programming notes. First and foremost, anybody who is also following Broken Sword as these videos release, the next episode is going to be a little delayed in its release, or rather the session from this past week. There were some significant technical errors due to mistakes on my part. As such, I am having to go through a very in-depth process to fix it. It may take a little more time than I would like, and it might delay the release of at least the next couple sessions. I'm going to get this worked out as quickly as I can, while not compromising the quality of the episode, and hopefully we'll have that out to you. For those of you that want to follow live, you can, of course, check out our Twitch games on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. You can see at least the live stream such that it exists, though this is, again, only an impact if you are immediately following on the issue. Hopefully, for anyone coming to the archive much later, this will have all been resolved, and I will eventually remove this. Other programming note, for Aegis itself, we may be taking a week off next weekend. So if you are following in the archives and were wanting to check us out, the coming October 19th, in this year of our Great GM 2024, we may or may not be present that day. We'll keep you posted. We may have something else going. You can follow any of our links for our Discord, the Blue Sky, Mastodon, any of that, whatever you use, and we can give you some option there, or we will at least keep you up to date. So, with all of that said, I can't think of much else to handle, so I think we should just go straight in with today's log.
All right then.
Excuse me.
Medical Officer's Log, August 2nd, 2155, Earth Calendar. Personal note. I have been with the crew of the Aegis for a few months now, and I must say, at first, I was a little weary. Either new species jitters, I think, or that rash I got from Quinlan 5 resurfaced again. However, despite my nerves, or a rash, the crew has been very welcoming. They seem to greatly appreciate my talents and have accepted me as one of their own. Commander Shearer has also been most helpful in working around human customs, as they can be rather unusual. Handshakes, for example. Highly unsanitary. Do not understand why. No. At this point of the log, you just start hearing a spray sound and the sounds of a cloth on the screen, and then as the sounds of a squeegee goes on. That's better. Nevertheless, I am grateful for them for accepting me, as they have also saved my life on more than one occasions in the few months that I've been with them. Slightly worrying, now that I think about it. Anyway, end of personal log. Medical log for Lieutenant Commander Romanov. Romanov is recovering well from her strange experience. However, it will be still a few months before she can return to any light duties. While I'm still skeptical about the cause of the possibility that she might have been affected by the Tholian's experimental chronoton technology, it is not out of the question. I have been monitoring her closely, but I have nothing concrete, as the humans would say, as to the cause of her experience. In any case, she has been recovering well, and I predict she will be back in engineering, keeping the ship together with duct tape and a lot of prayer soon. After I have given a full review to the captain, of course. And a full decontamination shower, just in case. End log.
All right. Xantar, let us go ahead and put you in. Sorry, momentary loss here. For our first scene of the day, let us go and drop in with Xantar in his day. So, we start in sickbay. The round, well-illuminated compartment cluttered with medical devices and biobeds, each with a clear place. Despite the significant space in use, the sickbay is efficiently laid out to handle at least half a dozen patients at a time. What is most pleasant to use, Xantar, is that the broad spectrum of equipment it's not just the broad spectrum of equipment or capable personnel you've been working with these past 6 months, but the atmosphere. Sickbay on the Aegis has always struck a balance between being sterile yet warm, and even somewhat inviting. A place where you want to work, where you could feel comfortable about it, or at the very least as much as you can until you have to make contact with anyone. And that is, I think, the place where we would be at. We land in the middle of some physical therapy with Lieutenant Commander Romanov, where you've been going through the regimen, stretches, massages, exercises, things that you would do to help ensure that both the muscular tissue is recovering while also retaining its strength and flexibility, minimizing the risk of re-injury. However, we are currently in a part of the episode where money is being spent. So currently she is just sitting on the biobed, and there is a machine that is emitting a gentle pulsing energy beam into her legs. And that is the first bit of focus we have as the beam connects. Romanov, I will ask you for the first roll of the session. This will be a control plus command roll with a difficulty of 1, because this beam feels freaking weird every time it connects.
Okay. Let's see. No focuses, I don't think, probably. No.
Probably not, no.
Okay. Control and command.
There we go.
2 successes, which means someone may draw a momentum. Who would like to be
Yay.
the designated momentum officer?
My pain is your momentum. Just remember that, people.
I'll take on the momentum.
Thank you, Craig. So let's see. It's a relatively slow day in sickbay otherwise. Tavashi is working with one of the other Makos who has been undergoing physical therapy pretty much since you departed Space Dock. As you understand it, a Mako that the captain took out of a hospital somewhere after a training accident and put right on the crew. Apparently they were rearing to leave, and the captain needed extra
needed bodies. Bodies, and the Mako's like, I wouldn't mind a transfer.
Yep. Lambeth is just working about tending to other tasks. He's had some job with the captain for some time now, though you haven't gotten into too much. And an engineer is presently fixing a lighting panel in the top of the top corner nearest to Vashi. But yeah, Romanov, Xantar, the two of you are just about waiting for the beams to finish. So, if you would like to exchange words, now is the time.
Gonna
I,
go ahead, please.
while I appreciate your need to recover, if you continue to push yourself too hard, Romanov, it will get worse for you, as I've said.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Especially as you need use of your legs.
Yes.
Either way, have you been experiencing any further pain in your head or around the shoulders? Any
Still
tightness in the
some,
neck?
yeah, tightness in the neck, pain in the
Hmm.
shoulder. She'll point out a couple spots.
Okay. He'll go over to like one of the stands that's got like a few of the hyper sprays like intact and like just take one. Just, like here, like administer it. Right. That'll help dull some of it, but remember, don't pull too hard. Don't want
Right.
anything breaking.
Right. I've got exciting engineering journals to read. I'll be okay.
If they're anything like my medical journals, I'm sure you'll enjoy them greatly.
Plus, I'm working on a book.
You're writing a book?
Yes.
Oh, what kind?
I'll show it to you when it's ready.
I look forward to it. I haven't gone a lot into human literature. Mostly just medical journals and the like. And Starfleet protocols.
Like I said, I'll show it to you when it's all done.
I would appreciate that.
With a
And
few-
how have you been feeling after your experience? Mentally?
Surprisingly good.
No innate thoughts of anything eating away at you?
No, that's kind of what the book's for.
Ah, I see. Good form of therapy. Yes. I'm glad you're dealing with it healthily.
So no, I'm gonna try to keep myself busy in here. Seriously, I do have engineering journals I want to read, and so that'll keep me up on the latest Starfleet tech. And then I'm gonna be doing some research for my book as well.
Very good. All right, I will leave you for a few moments then.
Yep. Xantar, you know that the cycle on the machine is set to run out within the next couple moments. As a matter of fact, scarcely another 20 seconds and the bit of effects budget that was slotted for this runs out, so Romanov is clear to take her crutch and start moving on out of the sick bay.
It's my first exit out of the nest. She looks at Xantar.
So,
Yeah.
as
Just be careful of your wings. They cause quite a hurricane,
Yep,
I think. Is that right? Is that a human phrase?
it is now.
Okay.
you've not heard the human phrase until it's been spoken in the original Denobulan.
That's right.
Yep. Xantar, you know that with Romanov's therapy done, however, your main duties in sickbay are concluded for the moment. You actually have another meeting, though. Something that was requested on your schedule with some of the senior officers, and it at the present actually means that you will be slated to, once you clean up, you will be heading up to the location where our second scene is.
All right.
So we are going to move into the armory now.
Oh.
Okay. This is an equally dense and efficiently laid out room in a Daedalus class vessel, as it necessarily needs to be to ply its dangerous task. Amidst the filled torpedo magazines and racks of phase pistols, the Makos and armory personnel are reviewing checklists and coordinating with an engineering team, all to make sure that its defensive systems are at peak function. This being at the tail end of this session, Chief Fernier is presently with you, Lieutenant Commander Shira, rattling off his updates on the present status. The secondary diagnostics show that the fire control units are back to full functionality, so we shouldn't be having any risk of misfires or shorts on that for the foreseeable future at the very least. Targeting sensors have been realigned, and we've even got the hull polarizers working properly on that melted slag over the port bow quarters, so our weak spots are pretty well covered.
Glad to hear it. Well, hopefully we won't be running into any damn pirates again.
Yeah, just try not to take too many more nukes up there.
Yes, I'll be trying to avoid all the nuclear explosions from now on.
Fernier nods. Shira, this is probably the most exhausted you've seen the Chief in a while, though this has been building up. You'd think he was in a time loop of his own.
You getting proper rest, Fernier?
I'm sorry, Commander. I'll admit I've been burning the candle a bit at both ends. The salvage was really helpful, and we have been able to pick up a few interesting items here and there. On top of that, Daedalus class is built to be very resilient for these sort of long-haul missions, but there's some things we just can't replace so easily. Between you and me, and well, I know that reports have passed along to the captain, and I'm sharing it with the chief engineer too, but our antimatter stores are starting to look a little bit slimmer than I would like with all the high warp usage. I'm worried with us keeping up this pace and about our lack of reprovisioning stops.
How much range do we have?
Well, I think we could easily manage. I'd say we've got at least. We've probably got at least another 300 light years in total if we at a standard cruise. I think that's plenty enough to get just about anywhere we'd be looking at, and certainly on turning back. Let me put it this way, where supplies, if we didn't top off, we'd still have some months before we actually hit, say, what we call in the biz bingo fuel. The point we need to either find a port and refuel or turn back around and head back to a friendly area. I don't suppose the captain's given you any info on the next stop?
Has the captain given me any info on the next stop?
She has.
No, and she's made an emphasis that there has been a few M-class planets around with civilizations, but she has told you specifically, you, the XO, that we would be better drifting in space than docking on those planets.
At this point, we don't know where the next good stop is going to be, so I suppose with exploration we're going to hope and stumble upon someone nice and friendly who doesn't want to immediately take us captive or open fire on us, and hopefully gain some antimatter fuel that way.
Well, yes, I'd prefer not to be captive, or, well, if we've got to be captive somewhere, then just take us back to that Vildana place, the witches, you know. It actually was kind of a nice place to visit, at least.
Yes, as far as prisons go, probably not a bad one.
Yeah. But,
Yes, I'll make sure the issue's raised with the captain.
sure, thanks. Very well, Commander. As the conversation finishes up, Fernier turns about and starts working, or getting his engineering team together so that they can finish up their work and leave. The armory door opens, and stepping through is one Marcus Horn. Shira, this isn't anything that you have kept on the books at this point, nor any of the previous encounters, but I think based on the I think that at this point, after so many of these, the look you would share is not a fond one necessarily, or it's nothing that you necessarily look forward to, but you do understand its necessity. If you wish to continue the conversation here, the upper levels of the armory here, you could step up here for some relative privacy.
Sounds good. Plus, saves changing the location.
I mean, I would have suggested that this is like the end of the shift because we made sure that everything is off the books.
That would make sense.
Any discussions we might or might not have and cannot be proven in court.
Completely fair.
You've got any
Wait, what?
antimatter lying around, Marcus?
Well, I've been looking under my bed, but there wasn't any, unfortunately.
No? Well, I think Fernio might be willing to sell you a few torpedoes and missiles, if you do.
Well, we can ask the crew. Maybe we can get a bunch together for some antimatter.
We'll see.
You're off shift soon, I think.
Is the first officer ever actually off shift?
Of course, it's in the manual.
Oh. Really? Someone should show my workload to the manual.
Well, that's different departments. Care for a drink?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Is Marcus the sort to bring a flask with him, or were you planning on taking this to the mess hall or something of the sort?
I think this was basically just a pretense, like where about people around, and then we are walking out, having maybe like a little bit of small talk. Unlike literally the clock gets over, like your shift's over. And we're still walking somewhere, and this isn't the first time, so you probably, unless you decide for a direction, there is not a goal really. It's just walking, looking busy while walking. And so it's time, I think.
Is it time? She looks quite uncomfortable.
Well, Captain should be enjoying some off time as well, so I will go to have friendly conversations between officers during our off hours, and we will see what that conversation brings.
Couldn't put it more vague myself.
Well, that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And I think like over the weeks by now, months, it's like we all have been very uncomfortable of like putting the worst consequences into words.
It's only been like weeks since the Dolians.
It feels
Yeah.
like months. To
Also-
Fournier, at least.
It's been 84
Shira's
years.
also just wondering exactly how much her captain is enjoying the time. A little downtime as well.
Well, probably not at all, but
No,
No, she wouldn't. She'll only do that if she was sure that you were on station. because otherwise, if somebody needed captain would be out of commission, and that's a poor.
well,
poor
there's 3 shifts and only 2 XOs, so
yeah.
there's 1 shift where none of you is present.
Good.
No, you would know the captain. Captain would be stable, fine.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Nah.
Good.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like, it's like you are not bad enough that it requires immediate action, but also not well enough that we don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
And that's like what
Quirky
we've been like
captain. Quirky captain.
uncomfortably talking around, like walking around the topic for weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, turns to Sheer. I just wanted to forewarn you that
I would also say though, for Shira and for Horn, is that she only binges when she's bored. She is not bored right now. We have a lot of things to work on this ship.
Oh, good. Good.
it's something.
Well, just keep the captain entertained. Look,
Yeah,
look,
keep her
Captain,
busy.
Look at the look at the shiny object. Look at the shiny object. You don't want to drink shiny object.
Yeah.
Shiny object. Yeah.
Jingle the keys, jingle the keys.
There's a laser dot. Just like catch the dot. Come on.
That's if she were Cation.
Yeah. I just want to let you know that I'm hoping we have some answers and can proceed as we have been. Hopefully.
I just don't know how forthcoming she's going to be about all of this.
Well, I intend to put my best foot and smile forward. And if that's not helping, then we might have to force the issue somehow.
That's where I come in for that.
Senior officers, please report to the bridge.
Ah, well, sounds like fun ahead. Okay.
So much for that plan.
Oh well, another day.
Gonna catch her someday off duty.
Yes. Your plans momentarily postponed as events occur on the bridge.
What's that bird
Sure.
still doing here?
Oh dear. Hold on. The set is momentarily stuck in time. Let me get this
Attacking
fixed here.
Xantar.
Like
Yeah,
Hawk
let's-
Screech. Why is there a dancing frog on the back of the hawk? Oh my darling, hello.
I told you wouldn't listen. Actually, Shira's not yet on the bridge either. Okay, and I'm gonna take Justice off as well. So, with the current arrangement, as the call goes out to senior officers, Captain, you find yourself at the con. Remora manning the helm, Creighton running comms, and Lieutenant Melnyuk running over some information. I'm certain of this much, Captain. Based on the subspace distortion, I would put that as a high impulse burst, either an extremely powerful engine or something pushed into an overload for a moment. Though there's no signs of any follow-up explosions or anything, so I think it was intentional. I put that bearing again at 17 Mark 24.
She does the alignment in her head and just sighs. Try to avoid trouble, and yet we run into it anyway. It smells on her breath.
I I can barely make out anything on sensors out there. I would guess that there's a ship, maybe something very small, like a scout ship. There isn't anything around here for light years, Captain. If they're moving around at impulse, then they're not going to get anywhere particularly fast.
She runs through her own, in her head, she runs through the other person's extended histories here.
Give me a reason and command if you... I presume you're trying to judge of who the hell could be out here in the middle, in the middle of all this right now.
Yeah, and if we should be concerned or not. What was it? Reason and...
Command. And this will, again, be a difficulty 1 roll. I will grant you a... Actually, I think for this... I don't think that a focus quite comes into play here.
That's fair. We got to spend momentum to make momentum, so I'll just spend that momentum. If you guys don't mind.
No, go ahead.
Good.
That is 2 successes, which means you get back the point of momentum.
Thankfully, I have cautious command, and I could re-roll that freaking 1.
Oh, good, yes, because that is a natural 20 there. That would mean a complication on the board.
There we go.
But now that is 3 successes, so you may draw an additional point of momentum, and that will take you up to a total of 2. As far as any reading, any research, any word of mouth you might have had from your from all the prep you did for the expedition, from your time hanging with pirates, anything in your background would tell you that there isn't a whole lot of what you know about in this immediate region, or you don't know anybody that would be running around in a small ship, or there are nearby polities, mind you, and
yeah,
nearby is a relative.
We avoid term. Like the plague. Yeah.
Yes. Closest by far would be the Klingons, but they are still some dozens of light years away as you move around their borders.
I'm just worried about the micropolities that we're trying to avoid too.
Oh, a lot of them you have left behind already. They were back around the Murasaki pulsar.
Okay.
There are some that some of your research suggests might be generally ahead, though most of them are not on your present course. So, as far as you know, there's only the sensor reading that Malnyuk says basically suggests this shouldn't be much more than a scout ship, or possibly something even smaller than that.
Alvarez, Milnik, any identifiers of IFF for both the Earth's and our own personal one that we've collected?
They don't seem to be broadcasting, and the power emissions that I'm detecting aren't significant enough. I can't even discern from the impulse trail exactly what it is. While it was a large burst, it was too narrow a spectrum, or the strength of the burst kind of avoided any of the consistencies that I would be able to detect or discern from the ion trail.
She nods. Crine's set to condition yellow. Remora, you have more up-to-date hearsay than I do. Any inklings?
There's a few things about where we're going. I know there's Tholians in the area. That's something we need to watch out for.
Mm-hmm. We are nearing the Taurus Reach. She nods.
However, we are getting a lot closer to the Messine system. There's a few things out there that should be of note. Something that if you're willing to make a stop for. If it's on the way, I would like to stop by Lystragon 7. There's a
Right.
station out there.
Something you can tell us right now, or something later you can talk about.
Oh, I can say it right now. There's a known group of Suliban stationed out there,
Hmm.
and I would like to see how they're progressing.
We could use a bit of a breather. To have a usable high port, or
Would I know that, GM?
As far as you know, the rumors of the station in that was Lystragon, I think.
Yes, Lystragon 7.
Okay, the station at Lystragon 7 should be fairly similar to uh, the Helix stations that have been designed, or that have been used by the Suliban for some time. Again, very modular sort of setups. It should be able to accommodate an Earthship, as many of the civilian-oriented outposts of the Suliban diaspora. They are prepared to trade with numerous vessels, many of them alien, so that shouldn't be. Like, if Aegis were looking to dock, then it's likely that you could give them the cover they needed to dock, fuel, do anything of the sort.
It's a lot like your Helix star stations. Uh, I would, if you're looking for relaxation in this system, that would be the best place. It
more looking
has
for supply than anything else.
it has radiation around it, so it's mostly hidden from the Tholians.
Mm. All right, but in the more immediate case, we have a scout ship ahead.
On a second note, more towards the superstitious part of the system.
Yes.
Further out towards the rim, there was once a long dead empire. A few people have gone out there, a few Suliban. Not many like to stick around, and we don't know why.
We can talk about that in a moment. Something I would like to confirm more about, but nothing regarding the scout ship that you're familiar with or heard about.
Not that I know of, no.
All right. She just looks to Alvarez. Polarize the hole. Let's just be cautious.
Okay.
Hull polarized, Captain.
And as the hull polarizes, a navigator calls out, we should be. We are presently on a course perpendicular to the craft. If we drop out of warp here, we should be able to catch sign of them in about 20 seconds.
Let's drop into extreme range for this ship. I don't want to get too close unless we have to.
Understood? So let's see. I'm going to do my crew a concern, and I'm going to drop us onto a battle grid here.
Yay!
Fun.
All right.
Just open fire with missiles.
Well, at extreme range, everything is going to be difficult.
That's
They'll
the
soon learn
intent.
to-
That's the
they'll-
intent. So we don't get fired upon.
Okay. So, as in the remaining seconds, whilst the sorry, just making sure I have everyone in place. At this point, I would say that at the very least, Horn, Shira, and Xantar all make it onto the bridge.
I
Xantar,
let them know.
the turbolift ride, I'm going to say, was a quiet one because they are, like, while something is clearly weighing on Horn and Shira, and while they wanted to talk about something, I think that it was they are opting to respond to the emergency right now.
Did Xantar like pick up on like the awkwardness between them?
Would Xanta pick up on that?
Maybe if you want to roll an insight and command, and if they, it would be a base difficulty. I'd say Horn's got a pretty good poker face, so probably.
Shira's rubbish. she's Andorian. This is like open book territory.
It's also, the situation is especially worse because the next step of escalation would be talking with Xanta if the captain is medically unfit, which they have avoided because official record, and Xanta is kind of new.
But of course, he might just think it's because Romanov's been hurt and stuff. So you know.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Xantar, like, we can say that if you want to roll for this, then you have an opportunity. If not, then there are, I think that there's, that there's signs that something has gone on between. There has been some sort of uncomfortable interpersonal interplay here.
I mean, Xantar has a focus in counseling, so I'd imagine like he's picking up something going on.
Okay.
You also have
Yes, that's right.
You also have an extended family of like 300, so you know family
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah. So he sort of recognizes this a little bit, I think.
Feel free to give me a roll then.
Why not?
Roll.
Oh, wow.
Oh, now you can roll. Now you can crit. Oh, but brain surgery. Better let me fumble here.
Pick up, Craig. Pick up a couple more points of momentum. That is 3 successes on the board.
Yeah.
God, fucking damn.
I know.
The
I'm back,
doctor,
guys.
the doctor's in.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the only good roll. Let's see. Right.
All right. So, with as they come on, with the hull polarized, Shira, you see that the ship is being set to a sort of secondary alert status, just shy of calling full action stations. And we drop the ship over to the battle grid.
Don't really have. I mean,
Horn just has his perch over the. He has his perch over the captain's shoulder, basically.
He has a little stool and he does a Riker stand, just like one leg up.
oh no, he's just lurking. That's his favorite activity.
Yeah, so like I said, the Riker stand.
So, Melnyuk calls out. Let's see, vessel should be approaching on. At its nearest course to us, it'll be approximately 500,000 kilometers. I'm going to attempt one follow-up scan here.
Be sure to double check your scans to make sure this isn't a Kazinti trap.
She's going to turn over into the visor, the sort of visor segment, the lighting from that particular sensor illuminating her eyes, and the bridge of her nose. I am going to have one more roll here just to give you guys the opportunity for slightly more momentum. Let's call this a difficulty 2 reason plus science roll, and if somebody would like to roll for the ship's sensors, they may do so.
Out of character, I have fought the Kazinti for quite a bit in Zach's games. We have gotten baited by the Kazinti once in this campaign, haven't we?
Yep. And
The
they
introduction was literally a bait.
I'm more concerned why we need all this momentum that he's giving us.
Well,
He's been strangely generous.
The difficulty 2 roll, I realize, with the if the ship assists, would be down to difficulty 1 because of advanced sensor suites. So if somebody can roll for the ship.
Okay, I'll do it. So sensors plus science.
Correct.
Difficulty 1. Happened there? Ah, there it is.
Okay. Well, the ship still, just by the act of rolling, has helped you guys by reducing the difficulty. There's no additional momentum that comes with this, however. At which point, there's a pause, and Melnyuk looks up and says, Captain, I'm detecting signs the... Okay, confirmed. Vessel is a Klingon ship. It is a Raptor-class vessel. Very low, practically minimal power emissions. I'm seeing signs of carbon scoring on her hull. Looks as though there's particular issue near her warp engines. I'd say that they've been knocked out. No signs of complete breaches, though, sir. Let's see here. There's some slight difficulty getting through her hull plating, but yeah, power emissions are, I'd say they're quite minimal. Her impulse engines are fired up on, I'd say they must be going on short bursts because she is running off on impulse power, but at such high speeds that she must be experiencing time dilation effects. I'd put her on course back to the Klingon Empire in approximately 84 years.
What is the time dilation factor? Can you figure?
Still running the numbers on that. I'll have that to you shortly, Captain. Suffice to say that at her speeds, it'd be difficult for us to catch her at impulse power. We might be able to sustain it for a short time. Either that or, I suppose, low warp could be used if we wanted to catch up to it for whatever reason.
Any life signs?
Actually, that's a strange thing. I'm not seeing any signs of Klingon biosigns, but I think I do see something that can, well, honestly, Mr. Horn, I don't know what to make of it, she says, rubbing her forehead. It looks like the sort of bioemissions I would expect from a life form as sophisticated as most sentient beings. However, it doesn't... Well, it defies any sort of analysis. There are other unusual variations that I can't account for. I'm also trying to deal with a lot of interference. It seems to be located somewhere amidship. I'm also uncertain whether how long it actually has there. It looks, while atmosphere is stable there, it doesn't look like their life support systems are particularly active right now. So there's possibility whatever is there, whether sensors are just being faulty here and it's actually a Klingon, or something else is going on here. Chances are that I don't know that. For one thing, I don't know how anything's going to survive on that Raptor for the next century.
It doesn't strike me like the kind of trap Klingons would lay.
No.
But
But
trap
within-
couldn't be ruled out. Can't be ruled out either.
No. Unfortunately, it could be a whole new player. Or any other things out here.
If we want to approach them, I recommend going with weapons charged and hull plating polarized.
Anyone else notice this behavior, Melnick?
No signs of anything else on sensors right now. Not even the slight disruptions of in subspace suggesting that anyone nearby is at warp. The little trick I picked up when we were at the binaries.
She nods. Okay. Romanov?
She's not on the bridge.
I thought she was.
Romanov can come onto the bridge. She is limping up in defiance
Yeah,
of
it's up to Romanov. Romanov, are you good enough to come up the ship or not?
I don't think she's good enough to come up to the bridge.
Okay.
She can.
All right.
She
I don't
can
know,
press
you
the
tell me.
intercom.
Yeah, I'll press the intercom and I'll say.
The doctor said no.
She has tried, but the
Doctor
doctor
said
has
no.
installed like barriers on the turbolift. She can't cross with
Yeah.
the crutches.
The doctor has a different.
There's a little beeping. Beep, beep.
Yeah.
What's the
She'll-
beeping?
Yeah, she'll just
Don't worry
say
about it.
she'll switch over. Bridge to Romanov.
Yeah, I was just heading for the cafeteria. What's up?
I have a thought experiment for you.
Go for it. This is a good time.
If I wanted to catch a ship at 99% or at 99% light speed, how best would you do it?
Zach, the character's engineering knowledge exceeds that of the player. What are my options for that?
Well, I'm going to say that Fernir is also there next to Romanov, prepared to talk this out. It's like, oh wait, I know this one. Let's see. Kind of depends on what you want to do about catching it. If you're talking about like just pulling up alongside, you can either try to accelerate your engines and like impulse engines, that is, and you can push up as fast as you can. It'd be a concentrated impulse burst, might get some time dilation effects that way. If you don't care, if you want to avoid that, just switch to a warp factor. Just go to decimal points. I'd say maybe, well, of course, something like 0.08, 0.095, something like that.
I know my basic warp engines. The engines don't like going that low. How long can we hold it?
Only have to hold it for a few moments. We can pick a position that's ahead of them.
Yeah. Now, when we catch this ship, what would be the intended goal? If you're talking about docking, then that might be a little difficult. We can hold a sub factor of warp for a time and
How
be able
long?
to, I'd say that without risking something, I'd say we could at least manage for maybe 20, 30 minutes, but that, again, that's contingent, I guess, on having a docking element to it. We could try to pull the vessel in with us with, say, grapplers. We could, I wouldn't use a shuttle pod if you're having to go at warp factor.
Yeah, no shuttle pods.
Yeah, that's not going to stay in the bubble. Let's see. I guess you could use. Well, I mean, if we're needing to go over and like send a team over for repairs or anything of the sort, then or salvage, then yeah, transporter could do it. How big are we talking here?
A Cleon scout ship.
Oh,
Old.
Sweet zombie Jesus.
Yeah, so it's a smaller scale vessel that's going to present some problems in attempting to dock.
That's at least a scale 3, and that Klingon vessel's not going to have easy docking ports. I don't think we would have much other choice than a transporter, or, don't.
There is another way. Zach, I need to know if this is out in the engineering files about what was done between NX-01 and NX-02 running a grappling
It happened
line.
around now, or at least a couple months ago.
Right. So I'm
Where
asking, is that in the engineering, wonder files?
That was like December, or last December. So
That's what I figured.
that, and I'd say that it's difficult even for Starfleet intelligence to get a hold of those files because somebody, a certain organization has had interests involved, and there might be a few errant things, but that depends upon your other vessel being at warp, or being able to go to warp as well.
Yeah, currently we're
Yeah,
just
it's true.
something that's going faster than impulse, slower than warp.
I mean, that's what the Horn was about to suggest. Can we just match speed,
Yeah,
catch it with the
match
grappling hook and
speed.
slow down?
Then you have to make sure if there's any rotation, you have to match that. Then you can begin bringing the vehicles together. But then you have the port issue. Can we latch on to their ports? Do we have data on Klingon ports of this type of vessel? Like,
How much long-term damage would affect, or what kind of long-term problems will we have bringing the warp to that low of speed? How much wear and tear?
Frankly, nothing. Nothing that we aren't already doing with high warp.
She looks to Remora for the challenge.
oh,
Do whatever you need.
yeah. I mean, I can make calculations and stuff like that.
You get some rest. Furnier, if you start making calculations, let's start at point 2 and work our way up. Let's try to catch up with this thing.
At this point, Melnyuk is going to look over from her science console. I would suggest, Captain, that we try to shoot for between, I would say, 0.76 and 0.77 if we are engaging at warp. I will also note that, well, if our goal is to try and slow them down, that is still that may take a little bit of time. We can do that, but until they are slowed down, or at least till we are comfortable enough, if the idea is to send a team over, the shuttle pod will not be able to catch up with them until they are at least down to 50% light speed. And that would be with a hard push on the impulse engines.
Let's first try to catch up with it before we start making any more complicated plans. But I'll take it under advisement. She nods with a small smile.
Have we tried hailing them?
She'll say, I was just about to do that. Crichton.
Yes, sir.
Send a hail. Let's see if at least anybody's willing to talk.
Copy that, sir. Stand by. Crichton will tap on a few buttons on his console, and I'm going to shift us just momentarily back to the bridge. Klingon vessel, this is the starship Aegis. Please acknowledge. Do you require assistance? Klingon vessel, this is the starship Aegis. Do you require assistance? Please acknowledge. Sir, I think I am picking up some sort of signal. Actually, it's very low level. I didn't notice it before, but I think that it's been broadcasting this whole time.
Put it on speakers.
Stand by. There's a sort of low, very reverbed Klingon bit of coming over the speaker.
I am very well versed in Klingon, so what does it say?
I'll ask you for one more task, an insight plus science with a difficulty of 2.
Linguistics.
Linguistics will apply.
I will spend a momentum. Take an extra die. Reason and science, you said?
Yes.
Or insight and science?
Sorry, that was insight.
Same number, so that doesn't matter to me. Focus, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good one.
So, let's see. Sharp, even with the quite considerable difficulty that you had to pose there, and even with as well versed as you are, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The alert or the wording that comes out here is something closely resembling, like there's a few parts of the message that repeat over. At least one part of it reads more like prepare for challenge. But there it is combined with glorious news awaits, and even more confusing victory over death. There's something a
She
little...
translate for everybody else.
Crichton checking your work. It's pretty close to it. I'm genuinely... Well,
Is that the
There's-
whole message? Crichton? She interrupts him just to not deal with the whole typical stuff that people have running her confusion with her.
But wait, sir. The message is looping back around. It does seem as though there is a request for medical personnel involved, sir. It may be a distress call.
That'd be pretty odd for this period. She snores very quietly under her breath. All right. Okay. Well, who's on the bridge right now?
I wasn't aware Klingons had distress calls.
They don't. She says.
It could be a trap.
Yep. I'm putting everybody that you see is on the bridge set there is available.
She'll say, looks over and says, Xantar,
Yes,
if
Captain.
you're willing, we might look into this more personally if you want to help Klingon patients.
As a doctor, I have not the luxury of judging who my patients are. I merely treat them.
I'm giving you a squad of Makos just in case, if we can get close enough.
Understandable, Captain.
All right, Remora, 7.7 if you can. Let's chase after this thing.
You got it, Captain.
Cautiously.
So, going back to the battle grid, let's see. To match the below warp 1 level amount here, and to basically maintain the... in order to effectively pull alongside and intercept Remora, first I'm going to say that with the comms roll that was affected, that takes up a slight bit increment of time, so by now they are making a pass at... they're still at extreme range, so that's... Everything in this zone would be close, so medium, we'll call it. They are up to here now. just zipping by the vast distances of space. Remora, I'm going to ask you for a control plus con roll. You are assisted by the ship's engines and engineering.
We're also at max momentum right now.
Yep. Whoever rolls for the ship, I'm going to ask that you also reduce the power by 1 point, since you are having to use warp engines.
Propagation range of 1.
Correct.
Oh,
Well, that
Oof.
is a single success and a complication. Before we look at that there, and
There's the ship.
real quick, Remora, do you have any helm or warp drive oriented focuses?
Not yet. That was going to be my next advancement.
I see. Well, Remora doesn't get activations, but we can do things to swap out focuses later. But okay. In any case, the ship does help you, so that would be 2 successes. Also, I think that the ship should be able to roll a challenge die with its improved warp drive. You can check me on that, Craig, and if the Aegis has that, you guys should be able to roll to determine whether you keep your point of power for going to warp.
Yes. Let's roll that. 0. No.
Okay, so you do lose a point of power. However,
No.
Aegis will be able to intercept and engage at low warp. So you guys are now in the same zone as the Klingon vessel. I'm going to say that from here on out, you guys are where you guys are staying in this zone up here.
I imagine our much like a transmission just under gear. It's our ship's kind of shaking a little bit.
Tiny bit.
Yeah.
Dampeners are able to compensate for most of it. But yes, you are at close range now. And let's see. Before we get too far on, I'm going to ask Remora, because you rolled a complication. You have you can either accept a narrative complication. You can buy it off with 2 momentum, of which you have at least 1 point floating with the success of your previous task. I think, well, we moved on from one task to another, so I don't think the captain's floating momentum from the translation roll applies here. But you could buy it off, or you could ignore it and give me threat instead. What would be to your preference?
You guys cool with buying it off?
Yeah,
go
we
ahead,
have
Bottom.
momentum to do it.
Yeah, we have more than enough momentum.
I'd rather not crash the ship. So I'm going to buy it off.
Do it.
Very good. Okay, so that'll take your floating point. That will bring you down to
Oh.
5 points in total. You can just draw
okay, I
back
didn't
to
realize we had floating.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a floating.
Nice.
All right.
Now that we're in close range, Remora's going to turn to the captain. Captain, permission to join the boarding party and switch with Chief Justice.
Granted.
Thank you.
Put the ship on view screen. Great.
Yes, sir. You are going to get an aft view of the Raptor, with your vessel coming over its ventral section. So basically, looking down on the ship, and
Yeah.
behind it.
Is there any, from my very experienced knowledge, is there any super extreme warning signs like the B word?
Let's see. If you would like to expend a point of momentum to obtain information, I will grant you that.
Yes, I will. I will spend a point of momentum.
Understood. So let's see. As near as you can tell, there's not much too out of the ordinary. The raptor has clearly been like in some battle at a distant point. I would say even that the like that is definitely. It looks as though the warp engine seems to have. It has some sort of hit to it. That is the one part of the ship that appears to have suffered some sort of rupture. Thus, it is inactive. However, it doesn't. There's not any sign of anything else particularly unusual or untoward. Not from the
No
visual,
crystals,
not from the sensors.
no.
Yeah.
No crystals, no biomasses, no techno biomasses. One might say they're emit green.
Panda, don't think about the Borg.
It's
do it.
Halloween. I am
Always
thinking. I
think
am
about it.
concerned about all those things.
It's
Um,
a kind of spooky ship, but nothing. Nothing.
You don't
like
want to
that-
kill the party. Yeah. Okay.
Yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
would.
she'll just buy it. Shira, any of the guns aiming at us? Even scout ships have a plenty.
What are the Klingon tactical systems doing at the minute?
At present, they are sitting cold and dark, much like most of the ship.
Not active.
Can we get close enough to dock?
Mjolnir chimes in. Not at warp, sir. Even if we fit them inside the bubble, I'm running an analysis, and their docking ports just are not compatible with the Aegis. Or their layout would not be conducive for us to dock. We might be able to get it with a shuttle if we can slow the ship down a bit. We could also use transporters, but other than that, we couldn't latch the ships directly together.
A low-powered phaser cannon strike to their engines might be able to slow them down.
Well, their engines are actually there's only a sign that it pulsed, essentially, for a moment. They are basically coasting on their impulse bubble right now. That's a GM clarification, I should say.
Yeah. Well, we've dealt with haunted things before. Shira, prepare for the just in case it goes boo. But for the moment, let's try to drag this thing to a halt. Grapplers. Mhm.
Oh, that's still me. Fantastic.
All right. Shira, the grappler,
Yes.
the bow
Yes.
grappler system opens out. The warp bubble closes in enough to the raptor that you are able to connect them. So you guys are now, you're not even truly at close range. You are just about at contact, or just shy of that. So, Shira, this is a control plus security roll.
Yay! Oh, fantastic.
Let me double check here just to make sure that I have everything I need.
I get
Don't-
by the ship
don't
weapons.
say-
Yes.
Don't say
Yes.
don't spoil you.
Ah.
Okay,
By
this
the
is
ship weapons. Haven't done this in ages.
control plus security assisted by the ship's structures and security with a difficulty of 2.
Okay, fantastic. I will give you a point of threat for an extra dice.
The GM will kindly accept your threat.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. That brings me up to. So I've got 3 dices. I've, of course, got shipboard tactical systems for a focus. Okay, let's fire that.
2
That's
successes on the board.
2 successes.
And then you may also have the ship's structures and security assist.
Structure and security fire. Another one. Hooray.
3 successes. So that will
Yeah.
give you 1 point of momentum back.
It didn't go boom, but it still made a good crunch.
Let's start slowing down, Ensign.
All right. I'll not have you roll for that. Just
Yeah,
allow
no,
the-
I'm just verbally, verbally going through the motions.
Yep. So the vessel begins. Aegis begins to slowly tamp on its thrusters or perhaps impulse power very slightly, just enough to start bringing this down. It's still going to take some time, so if you like, we can run this as we can declare a time skip to where you could get the shuttle pod over, or we can. Would you guys prefer to use the shuttle, or would you prefer to beam over?
We have 1 shuttle left, so it's up to you guys.
What's everybody's thinking?
I'm up for whatever the crew decides.
I prefer shuttle.
Shuttle.
Yeah, shuttle. I hate to lose it, but, you know. We'll have to make our own one in the field. We'll have to make our own alpha flyer.
See what the Tuvix episode does to people? Nobody wants to use the transporter.
We have a transporter?
Okay, and I do have well, okay, yeah, just those are my thoughts.
Okay. Anybody else want to include your bit before before boarding starts? Because after that, we have to figure out an away team.
I'm fine with shuttle for the moment. It's the last one. Actually, no, I'm gonna override. We're gonna do transport. We need a shuttle.
I'm happy
Yeah.
with whatever the crew decide.
No,
Okay, let's do shuttle. No, transporters.
I'm as happy. I'm going with
No,
what the
you two
crew
made the wrong
decides. If
decision.
the crew decides what I want.
Yeah. No.
This isn't a
No,
democracy.
you're right. You're right. Let's do shuttle.
There's-
Shuttle's good.
Now,
Shuttle's
now,
good.
now, listen. There's my way or the Jane way.
Hey.
Yeah, we're doing shuttle. And then for the away team, Xantar, Mora, a few NPC Makos.
Sacrificial lambs, yep.
We are going to use
I will ask before I think that many of those people would volunteer of their own accord, but I would like
Yeah.
to also go around
Absolutely.
to check with the players here. So, Pete, we're
Sure.
okay with Xantar. Brian, you'd like to bring Mora on with this one?
Brian. Brian died.
Yes, I was thinking of doing. Yes, I would like to bring her on.
Very good. Let's see. Then, Felix, do you want a character on board? Alvarez can blow things up.
I mean, yeah, but he's kind of settled in on tactical, surprisingly, and successfully, which
Shira's
is the most
there.
surprisingly.
Sure.
Let's take that over to Shira. Do you want to lead the away team, or do you want to be ready in case you need to start firing at the ship? You don't get to use the ship's weapons that often.
I'll stay at the weapons station, and I think Nurse Marple can go along since they were asking for medical personnel.
Nice.
Very good.
Ah, yeah, come on, then Alvarez can go.
Okay, so
But I would like for Shira to volunteer him, just like, oh man.
Alvarez, you're standing around not doing anything. Get going.
And then
I'm not doing anything because you took the. Oh man.
our favorite not dwarf burly guy, Leighton, is going to join.
Yep.
For engineering.
Who the hell's in command of this away team, anyway?
Xantar?
Xantar.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, we told you it was a horror game. And that is the psychological horror part.
I mean, such that the mission has a medical component to it. Xantar would be leading that team. There would be I think that some Mako enlisted personnel would go along, and they would, at least they might say that they have their own slight. Well,
So
go ahead.
the way the captain's going to structure it is that Xantar is in lead of the overall mission. Mora will be as advisor, being a Mako, security advisor, and thus in command of this mission. And definitely command in the security and viability of the ship and the crew that we team.
Fair enough.
So there you go.
No,
If that's fine with you, Brian.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah. So you're in charge of making sure that the away team is safe, and any other security
Give me a
concerns.
couple Makos, and
Xantar is in charge of the overall mission.
all right. So, and then I believe Remora was also talking about coming along as well.
And we've got an engineer, right?
Yes, we have Leighton.
Excellent. Okay, and I've taken my advancement for Remora. Security 5.
Or Mora.
Mora. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
You
Remora and Mora, that's not going to get
You
confused.
cannot get security
Yeah.
5. You are a supporting character.
Okay.
That is actually that is a good and correct point. Thank you for checking on that, Panda. So
I forgot about that one.
Yep. All right. So before you guys ride the shuttle over, are there any questions or concerns that? Are there any scenes rather that anyone would want to do before heading on board? Hearing none there. Let's.
Well, I'll have a brief one with Xantar.
Okay.
With the captain Xantar. You are in charge of the mission, Xantar. Are you okay with that? Do you have any questions
yes,
before we
Captain
leave?
Noble. No.
This is your first away mission, proper.
Yes, but I've read up on Starfleet protocols, and it is my field of expertise. I feel I should be adequate.
If you have any concerns or fears, you go to Mora.
Very good.
And if it seems like it's too much danger or endangering the crew, you communicate back here and we'll transport you out. Do you understand?
Yes, Captain. Thank you.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
All right. So, the Aegis is going to continue on course, steadily pulling it into a slowed bit. Two other bits of business here. First, are you paying the escalation to bring along phaser rifles? Or phase rifles. The particle rifles, basically.
Ooh.
I would recommend it.
I mean, the Mako kind of has to, really, don't they?
Makos are always going to recommend, it's
It's an escalation if they don't.
Yeah, it's an escalation if we don't.
Yeah, go on. Bring along the heavy stuff. It is Klingons, after all.
All right, I will allow for that. Then the second question comes, would you also, would any of you like to bring along any specialized equipment? In other words, paying the opportunity cost, like expending momentum to buy any specialized gear. I would say that your standard equipment would be your phase pistol, a communicator, a translator, and the uniform, of course.
Presumably for medical staff, that also includes medical kits.
Yes, a basic.
Yeah,
And
medical
engineer,
truck walker.
engineer has basic
Yeah.
set tools.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. Basically, what is the equivalent of like flashbangs, something to incapacitate the enemy?
There is a pulse grenade.
Do we need to spend for those?
I think that counts toward. Let me double check here. I've got the handy dandy compendium up here. So equipment, combat equipment. Taking a look here. Okay. Sorry, just confirming right now. Alright, so pulse grenades. They have an opportunity cost of 1, so that's a point of momentum, an escalation cost of 2. I am going to rule that that is just a... I'm going to rule that just paying escalation allows you to take that. Very technically, it actually looks as though... what do you know? The particle rifle proper doesn't actually count towards escalation in this situation, apparently. But the grenades do, so I'm going to take that. Also, if we had a phaser type 3, aka the phaser rifle, that is where escalation lies. But yes, you can take grenades if you would like.
Can we take grenades?
I mean, you already paid for the escalation.
Well, let me
Yeah,
put it this
take
way.
'em.
You guys
Flashbangs.
can actually have your particle rifles if you would like, and not have to pay the escalation for it. If you don't do that, or if you pay for the escalation, you get grenades as the special thing instead of the rifles. If you don't want to pay escalation, you can still have your rifles. I will be a kind GM, and I'm willing to backtrack on that.
It's up to you guys.
I would
I feel
rather
this is a
have the
trap.
equipment. I wouldn't rather have the equipment than not have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, in character, you know, she's a Mako lieutenant. She's going to say we're walking into an unknown situation. We may need to protect
Klingons, no
personnel.
less.
Klingons, yeah, this could be bad. And I would also suggest perhaps some rebreathers. We don't know if they have any kind of biologic situation going on.
I would like to bring a more, since it's Leighton, who is atmosphere and mostly designed for this kind of stuff, actually. He would bring a more sophisticated scanner, GM, to measure the quality of the air and find any holes in a hole or anything like that.
So I would say,
More,
yeah, I would say that monitoring atmosphere would fall under the function of your engineering. Well, I'd say that's both a function of the standard and engineering scanner, which grants you like a particular advantage with engineering tasks. So that should be fine without anything there. I'm double checking the equipment question. If you guys want an environmental suit, that apparently is an opportunity cost of 2. You also have body armor, which can be bought for an additional momentum.
I'd recommend body armor, and if we can get some kind of simple rebreather, but that's up to supplies.
Yeah, I would say that is. I'll give the rebreather just a cost of 1 if you would like it.
Armor and a rebreather is what I recommend to Xantar. And flashlights.
Can you not just wear an EVA suit? That would be great.
Then recommend that. Your mission commander. I'm merely your advisor.
I'm guessing an EVA suit would be a bit detrimental, Zach.
It's going to limit mobility.
Yeah.
It will limit mobility, and it will limit mobility a little bit, but you can always take it off or in some parts.
Hmm.
The way that I'm running this, because I am trying to be a bit better and consistent about opportunity and escalation costs as far as first edition stuff goes here.
All right.
That would be... Let's see. So the environmental suit would shield you from, like, any biological hazards for certain, and it adds a point of resistance for everybody, so you can take a little bit more of a blow. If you go with a rebreather, then it shields you at least from some biological hazards, not every vector because it's not enclosed, but I think that besides momentum that you're paying, the opportunity cost is you can only really wear one of them. So, like, and not everybody on the crew would wear body armor necessarily, or I don't think Xantar would necessarily go towards that, or anyone else.
Yeah.
I will say the ship is quite cold, as well as it's quite cold in addition to having sort of minimal life support right now. So there are arguments for both. If you go in like if you decide to just go rebreathers, then restoring power is probably a first order of business.
Honestly, we probably want to get the life support systems up and running so we can tend to the medical better.
Well, I mean, when in doubt, go Star Trek, and they never go fully prepared for combat.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So basic question of do you guys, how kitted out do you guys want to be? Do you just want to do the environmental hazard bit, or
I would say the captain would hard no on your armor. You don't need that much. One bring rifles, one bring stun grenades, sure, but don't overdo it, Mora.
Got it.
all right?
I think that's a fair assessment for expecting Klingons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whoever would use Klingons as a trap, which I'm not sure is scarier or less scarier.
Yeah, yeah.
But rifles, grenades are perfectly good assessments. Armor and whatnot. EVA suits seem reasonable because it's a pseudo derelict. So it's an old ship that's been going at 99% light speed, and probably hasn't seen all that much repair in a while. So getting EVA suits is probably not a bad idea.
Can a lowly
Yeah.
ensign
EVA
get
is
some of those weapons?
Say again there, Cheesy.
Can a lowly ensign get some of those really cool weapons?
I think that an officer would be allowed to carry a phase pistol or a rifle or even grenades.
Yeah, you're fine.
Officer privilege.
Oh, and let me send you the info on the grenades here, Cheesy. That way you can add them yourself. Let's see here. So we are just getting these things set up here. Give me one moment, guys. I am going to... There's going to be a click... a sound effect that just happened as I copied something for anyone that wants grenades. That is what you can add. I just had to take the little snapshot. All right. So we've got... I think that settles everything. Well, unless anybody else wanted to ask about any other specialized equipment. All right.
I think we're good.
Yeah, hearing
Nothing I
none.
can think
Yeah. So
Yeah, I do have one thing. This might be like something like emergency people use to open a door. Although, how big is that shuttle? Is it? It's scale 2. It's scale 3 vessel, right?
The Raptor is a scale 3 vessel in this era.
Yeah. You know how the fire has those fire and stuff. They have the things you can jam a door open. It helps you open
The
a
Jaws of
door.
Life.
Yeah, but for doors, if there's anything like that, I'm gonna suggest it to the doctor in case we have to get to somebody or a group of people. Probably not. I don't know. Your call.
I think a shuttle pod probably has something that could help hook into it that way. So
Beautiful. That was my only other
Cool.
comment.
The
oh,
Orion's coming, right?
No.
Oh,
Why would Alonso go? He's a cook.
Yeah,
that-
sure. Just a check.
we needed a door opener.
what I was gonna say, you want him to see if he can whip up something with frozen gach.
That man is like 100% protein. I think he can open that door himself.
Oh yeah, no problem.
All right, so let's see. Just getting things set up here. So the Aegis will pull you in, or rather, will pull in the Raptor, or pull it to where it is slowed down enough to where the shuttle pod can connect. The away team will include Xantar, Remora, from the Makos, Kirari Mora, Ensign Alvarez from the Armory personnel, Specialist Layton from the Engineering Division, and then Nurse Marple. So let's see. And it would be a tight fit, but you could have another Mako or two ready to, like in the shuttle pod, stuffed in with you guys. I mean,
Yes.
no space because you are all in bulky EV suits, but you could have that.
I'll recommend it to the doctor, but point out that what if we have to evac a patient? Maybe just one. If we just had one more Mako, would we have room for an evac?
Yes, though at that point,
Also, you have transporters for that kind of thing, though.
Okay, good point. 2 Makos. Excellent point, ma'am.
all right. Also, hey there, Mercury. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you enjoy or are lurking, whatever you wish to do. But let's see. So I will ask just before we get everything settled up here with the pulse grenades and with the EV suits, that will be 3 points of momentum for opportunity cost. So I will reduce accordingly. I apparently hadn't kept up your momentum to where it was supposed to be at 5, so that is my mistake there. Yeah. The shuttle pod will depart the Aegis, and Remora, you will bring the ship. You will come alongside the Raptor. Near as you can tell, there are two hatches that are along either the bow end or the sort of upper pod of the ship. There also appears to be a ventral hatch, one that would bring you kind of near a cargo section. What would be your inclination?
Probably the ventral hatch.
All right. You approach the sub deck. I will ask for, just because you are trying to connect with a moving object, one control plus con roll, and I'll ask somebody to roll a shuttle pod for with engines and con. And this is an impulse task, so this would be what would it be? It would expend a point of the shuttle pod's power as well.
Is that your second?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's. It seems that Remora is pulling a Pete today.
I object to that term.
You resemble that remark?
Yes. Wait a minute.
Sorry, what did the shuttle have to roll?
Engines plus con.
Can reduce power by 1. Engines plus con. Engines plus con.
Yeah.
Good shuttle pod.
All right. Well, that does net you back a point of momentum, which, for once again to note, I believe that you lose 3 points on opportunity cost, basically to give you the grenades and the environmental suit. However, you do get a point back. So before Craig draws the momentum back for that, let me ask, Cheesy, would you prefer to take the narrative complication, to ignore the complication and give me 2 points of threat, or would you prefer to buy it off with 2 points of momentum?
You want to just, split it down the middle? We pay 1 momentum, you get 1 threat?
I will accept.
Yeah.
Seems fair.
I'm a kind GM.
At some point, I think the stream needs like a danger level for your threat. Like, so this threat is a Borg cube, this threat is like Gorn invasion, like, just so people can gauge what the status of the problem is.
Yeah. I was going to say, that will eventually be the Quatlu that'll be available for Quatlus, perhaps.
Okay, fair enough.
So
what could possibly happen with this amount of threat?
I take a point of threat for part of the complication. I also take 2 points for the escalation cost that had not yet been drawn. So now that we've settled, we have grenades. This most combustible situation gets slightly more tricky as you have some difficulties lining up the shuttle pod with the Raptor, but you manage to connect the dorsal hull of the shuttle pod, and particularly the hatch, onto a segment that you believe will take you into a cargo bay. So, with that, you secure the pod, it magnetizes, and the seal reports as good. You are stable.
That was a little rough, but we're hooked in.
Peter, you're really in the mission, my man.
Yeah, looking over at Xantar.
It's just like
Ready?
it's just looking at the menu. Huh? Oh, right. Yes. Shall we?
Yep.
They
We're
get up
frosty.
maybe a little bit awkward in the UVA suit, but no. Yeah, he'll open up the door and begin to step onto the ship.
All right. The with the help of Leighton, getting things set with the hatch, you manage to breach through the door. You find yourself in a very darkened chamber, Xantar, and everyone that follows you. We momentarily are going to go theater of the mind for this part because I have never completed a complete Klingon cargo bay set, so let's just move people around. Alright. It's on my to-do list, I promise you that. Okay, so move party here. Alright. You find yourself in a darkened room. I'd say probably about as large as anything that you would see on the Aegis. Lights are non-existent in here, or they're not active. Your helmet suits, or the helmets have a light that extends out, and you can make out the outlines of various cargo containers. There are also signs of different, like crates of jagged edges on the walls. The shadows interplay in extremely weird ways, catching the nets. They almost seem to have web-like qualities when drawn against the whole thing. Xantar, you swear as you look to the left and you see the outline of something extremely tall and jagged out of the, or like approaching the corner of your eye.
Ah!
You
I shine the light in the general direction.
it seems somebody left a batleth up against a crate, and your light caught the edges of the blade. Somebody has been adding or carving in bits of, like, jagged bits there to make it an extra nasty, serrated cut.
Oh. Klingons. Shall we continue? Do be careful of the swinging batleth.
Yes.
Whoa.
Layton's gonna scan the air to see how much air we have in the ship.
Let's see. I'll give you an engineering and reason roll difficulty of... I'm going to call it difficulty of 2, just because the range and reliability of the engineering scanner is limited to about 10 meters.
Where is...
Layton is in the supporting characters under engineering.
Oh, there he is. Specialist Layton.
Yep.
Hello, Specialist Layton. Alright. What was it again? Sorry.
Reason plus engineering.
Excellent. Decontamination.
That works. Xantar's favorite focus, too.
Perfect. Indeed it is.
And let's go. No.
Yeah, you're at least certain that there's air in all the compartments within sensor range. It's a bit cold, though, so it's not the most pleasant right now.
Can I activate my backup plans?
Yes. Should.
You may.
You're still there, I think.
I guess he is on the scene, yes. So you get a point of momentum back for failing the roll.
He's just kind of like scanning around and then occasionally like grumpy and just shaking the damn thing harder as if like trying to fix it.
Everything okay, Ensign?
And there's air. Cold though.
Anything in the air we should be worried about?
He doesn't answer you. He's just shaking the machine, the scanner more. Just roll
Right.
on.
Okay. Xantar will get out his medical tricorder, and he would like to do a scan for life forms. Do.
Very good. Reason plus either science or medicine. With a
I'm going to go with medicine.
I am going to call the difficulty on this roll 3.
3.
Actually, I'm going to spend 2 threat to raise that to a difficulty of 4.
Good lord.
And quick hello, Nat Too Shabby. Welcome in. We always love a visit from the Architects of Fate. But go on ahead there, Pete.
Sure. Okay. Would xenobiology help as a focus for this?
Yes.
Cool. And if it's okay with everyone else, I would like to use momentum and gain another die.
Sure.
Of course.
Excellent. Ugh.
Okay, so that is 2 successes on the board. Xantar, through the interference in the ship, I would say that you can discern there is a life sign that looks to be, I would say, at least 2 decks up. What you would approximate to maybe be a medical bay. Other than that, you're not detecting any signs. There doesn't seem to be any Klingon life. There doesn't seem to be much in the way of life from that you would expect to see as like the ambience of a Klingon ship. You know, for example, from records, they tend to keep live animals, and you would expect that at least for food purposes you would see something like that, but you're not detecting anything. Maybe there's something further up, although it just doesn't say
I would also imagine like the cold is unusual because it's a Klingon ship. I imagine there'd be a lot more warmth to it.
Yeah, the Klingons are much more comfortable with a warmer environment. So
Shit, the one time we go to a cold environment, I choose not to bring Shira. Ugh.
I'll have to
Well, we
head
knew
to
it
Xantar.
was cold. We knew it was going to be cold.
Just Xantar just thinks to himself, oh, sure, I would have liked this.
Probably still a little too balmy for her.
Okay. Who's the engineer in my team?
that would be Specialist Leighton.
Yep.
Leighton. Leighton. Could you find any indication of the power levels of the ship and see if we can do something to restore them?
He will kind of smack his scanner and then just start walking in a direction, trying to find the EPS relays and whatnot.
Yep, I will say that based on what little records you have of a Raptor-class vessel, of which you can thank the NX-01, you understand that there is a reactor pit in the aft section of the ship, something that you should be able to access from the top, from this level. It extends up 3 levels at least.
We gotta go to the reactor pit.
How far up or down is that?
It's that way.
Well, I'm picking up a possible life form 2 decks above us, so we'll investigate that first. No, he'll look around and be like, up 2 floors? Direction? That way. And start making his way. He's hoping he's making his way to the next level. Making his way?
Yep. Let's see. Just for a one little scene change. Also, I realized I didn't put Marple in the away team. Let's
Yeah.
Marple.
let's fix this.
We've lost Marple.
Let's put you on a proper Klingon set, everyone.
Yay.
Oh,
Oh,
there we are.
I can't move my token.
This looks nice.
Oh no. Yes, I imagine a little familiar. Let me fix your token here real quick, Craig. That is. No. apparently it wants to think that's north for some reason. That's not good.
I'm not.
You,
Or are you?
Definitely not.
no, I'm north. There's only
Oh, okay.
there's only one me,
Thank God.
I think. Not any.
I hope.
There's only one more now.
Imagine just a load of Narth clones.
Hello, we're the north. Yeah, don't think about the north.
We can move. I can move it again. Good.
Very good. All right. You enter the hallway of the Raptor. Where the scene would normally depict its usual lighting. Most ships of this era, or Klingon ships in this era, actually tend to have very little illumination. Or it's generally a black with bluish undertones. You sometimes get a slight bit of red to go with it. But it's a very dim sort of set piece that the production designers of the era take. So let's see here. Upon trying to head down the corridor and access the reactor pit, it seems as though the door is non-responsive, and the paneling is not properly illuminated. However, there is a means of accessing the room from a... there are basically sort of ladderways or gantries that would allow you to pretty much climb up to the next deck and access it from the primary deck, or the main deck.
Okay, we will use that then.
Yep.
Excellent.
So you ascend through the bowels of the ship, steadily climbing up and finding your way into the main deck. A very similar looking set for our purposes. The door there also appears closed. However, it seems as though there is a missing wall panel, and Leighton, you could start working at accessing the engine room by using a manual release.
Yeah, I will.
So, if you'd like, I'll give you a control plus engineering roll to that end.
Emergency repairs, or environmental systems, or jury rigging.
Let's call it jury rigging.
There you go.
Okay. Leighton, you run your light over the deck panel and start working on the manual release. It creaks and groans with each sort of effort to pry it loose and to get the door set. The hallway on the main deck is much darker than still manages to be darker still, and with the little bit of the helmet light that is giving you some sense of the area. With little noise aside from Leighton's physical efforts and perhaps the occasional chime from your scanners, as the Makos keep their head on a swivel, glancing around. With a few more moments, the door pries itself open, and you find an open door. Leighton, you may proceed into the reactor pit if you like. This point, I actually think one of the Makos would say, Lieutenant, addressing Xantar.
Yes.
Would you like some of us to remain here with the specialist and while you're heading up to sickbay, or should?
Yes. Excellent idea.
Yes.
I was
There
about to
is.
And
say-
somebody should accompany you up to sick bay.
It would be helpful.
Indeed.
I can do that.
The one.
Okay.
I'm just going over standard checklist sort of stuff here. Though this doesn't have to be right away. We might be helped if we go and check on the bridge. Or that getting control of the command center might also be important, but that is a judgment left to command, of course.
Right. He'll look at the rest.
I can't say I'd advise splitting too much up on a
Yeah,
ship
we
like
can't
this,
split up too much because we make ourselves easier to pick off. So
Yes,
if
I
there
agree.
is something here. So certainly a Mako here with the engineers, and then I'd like a Mako with the medical team. If your priority is to hit medical first, let's do that and then do the bridge.
Yeah.
This place has been drifting like this for a while. I don't think it's an immediate emergency, but, you know, Leighton's the person to make the judgment, and engineering will tell us that.
Okay, so I'm hearing Xantar, Marple, Remora going upstairs. I guess if Alvarez or Mora wants to go with those three, then you've got that option. Alternatively, if any of the other player characters want to stick around with Leighton, then you have that option.
There should be a PC with another PC. So I'll be the remain behind Mako, and I'll leave a Mako, and I'll have the other Mako go with them.
Well, there's an NPC Mako that can also go with them. Felix,
yeah, that's
what?
the one. Yeah.
How's Alvarez doing? Would be a question here. How's everybody doing? But Alvarez first.
Carefully curious, I think. The atmosphere is obviously very, very ghost shippy, so there is definitely you kind of see his inexperience, like generally in here especially. But since nothing bad has happened, like the curiosity starts to take over. Where would he be? I think he would stay with the doctor.
Leighton would be spooked or unsettled, but he found a way to deal with that by just focusing on his job. So he is currently just hyper fixated on getting the stuff done that he needs to get done.
Remora is very alert. He hasn't seen one dead body yet, and that's concerning. So he's just waiting for somebody to just jump out of a doorway.
Fair enough. Okay. Let's see. Moving on up the chain. How about Marple?
She's just, I don't know, she seems to be just getting on with the job in hand. Bit concerned that there's no one around. Where is the crew?
If nobody asks, how is the crew?
You can ask how the crew is once we find the crew.
Yeah, I'm worried about that as well. And we haven't seen any signs of struggle in the hallway or anything like that, right?
Anyone want to try and roll insight on any of this?
Yeah, might as well.
I'll do it.
I will.
Insights.
Yeah, I will ask for insight and then the most appropriate discipline for your character. So
I'll go with medical.
Security, medicine.
Insight security.
Okay, I'm going to set
And
the
I would
difficulty
like
on
to
this.
use.
Okay.
I would like to use squad tactics because I'm familiar with what a fight looks like as a focus.
Would that would okay? That'd be the focus. I would say, yeah, if you want to look for signs of a firefight, then that would apply. I am going to set the difficulty on this roll to 3.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, sorry, I meant to reset that earlier.
Quite.
I got 1 success. So
Let's see. Well, what would your security discipline be?
5.
Okay.
Sorry, 4.
Because it didn't select the. It seems like it didn't select the.
Oh,
Your.
let me re-roll that then.
Well,
I don't know.
the
I
11
clicked
there
on it.
would be a success. See, you rolled an 11 here.
Oh, you know what? Security didn't check. I clicked on it, but it didn't go correct. Can I?
I'm willing just to give you the. Well, I guess
That's
technically that's only two. Well, yeah, no, that should give you 3 successes there because that's a natural one there, and then that's a. That's an 11
Yeah.
there. So yeah, you don't
That
need
one
to
would
worry.
be critical. Yeah.
Yep. So, Mora, you concerningly don't see any signs of a firefight or anything that would suggest in either of the hallways you've passed through any signs of carbon scoring, any particular impacts on the blades or on the or of a blade or something of the sort. Not even like a smearing of the not even a smearing of what you would guess to be blood. And Xantar,
Got it.
you don't notice that as well, but you do notice signs of other discolorations, other signs of something about that is. You do see just the occasional bit of light passing over a bit of wall or a bit of the floor, and some of the grates, the signs of like something almost sort of smeared or spread in a sense over the flooring panels, over the tiles. It catches just a tiny bit of like there's a little bit of a shine or something that comes off of the light as it reflects to it. And that's not something that, well, it doesn't immediately look like like someone has like bled or anything of the sort on that. It's it looks to be something slightly different. Though what you can't tell what the viscous material is, though.
Good, Xantar.
Well, that's what I was saying. Xantar sees that just.
Oh, right. Can Xantar get out like a little test tube and like take a sample?
Absolutely.
Alright, he will do that. Which is most curious. Would I be able... I'm assuming that since I have a focus on xenobiology, I can tell this isn't Klingon blood, because I know, as most people know, the color of Klingon's blood is a nice pink color.
Yeah, you would know this. This doesn't appear to be blood exactly, or not as you would know it. It's whatever the viscous material is. It appears to be mostly transparent. Maybe a slight, I wouldn't say the bright pinkish hue, more of something very dull. Honestly, I'm going to curse all of you with the terrible knowledge and imagery of the Broken Sword game. Cheesy, you know it's coming. It almost looks vaguely tapioca-like.
Oh.
Tapioca.
Ugh. The tapioca. Ugh. Oh well, I put it in a test tube now. Never mind.
All right. So with no sign of any, with no sign of battle or anything that has transpired, you split off and tend to your tasks. For our first, for the first group, heading into the reactor pit, Leighton, Mora, and another one of the makers, you arrive in the their equivalent of engineering. The reactors are cold and dark at present. There are some consoles just barely powered, though they are like only sparsely operational. Leighton, you might have yourself a bit of a time with this.
It's going to be a while. He tells Mora. Brian?
Yes. So I will switch to the other team since they're exploring in deeper in, and I'll leave you with a Mako. You've got 2, and I'm with them.
Oh, switching out the other NPC and going...
Yes, but just mainly because the player doesn't want to, wants to be in the scene.
Fair enough.
Yep, I'm just gonna start working.
Yep.
He's going to just start tearing things apart and trying to make the damn thing work. What the hell's wrong with it?
Yep. Yeah. Leighton, running the translator as best you can and trying to guess where the antimatter inducer is makes this a very trying effort, as the ship seems to have been put into a largely cold state. But this will take you some time, and I think that we are going to hold off on a roll for your next attempt here. Well, let's see. Let us move that up here. I'm also going to update the counts because I realized I did not have them set properly. All right. Xantar, meanwhile, as one of your Makos is swapped out and Mora comes up to join you, Alvarez, Marple, and Remora all follow along with you. And they are going to follow you up another deck. Once again, you have to sort of climb through a ladder system, forcing you to go up single file into the darkened bowels of the ship. As you ascend, you find yourself onto a much smaller part of the ship on the mission pod, or rather basically on the dorsal pod of the vessel where the impulse engines would stack up. Basically that the very thick bit near the back of the ship is where you start going up into the proper crew deck. And you arrive on the deck, following the sensor contact you have for that biosign that, even as you close, still eludes any attempt to identify it. But you find yourself to be just outside of the sickbay. The door, once again, is closed and is not immediately opening up to your... it's not immediately responding.
Is there any more of that strange viscous fluid around?
I'm going to say that you don't see any immediate sign of it here.
Okay. All right, I'll look to my team and say, anyone know a way in?
Actually, yeah, this is all player characters, so go right ahead.
Let's see if we can we get the door is jammed, or...
You have seen that it could conceivably be pried open by using the manual release, essentially.
We can use the manual release. Who's best at engineering here? And we have the door opener on the Aegis.
I can brute force it, but I'm not good with the technical stuff.
I mean, I can give it a try.
Sure, I have a focus in internal security. Could I apply that to an engineering attempt?
I think I'll rule no on that, but I will allow 2 of you to roll on that, one assisting.
Okay.
Can I apply jury rigging to trying to override the door control, or
I'll
just get it to open somehow?
Yes, I will allow for that.
Could I use my security knowledge to assist him?
Sure thing.
What's the role for trying to get that door open?
I'm going to call this. I'm going to actually give you daring and engineering, since nobody's particularly specialized with that.
That's not too bad. What's the difficulty?
I'll set it to a difficulty of 2.
So daring engineering, difficulty 2, no focus.
I'm tempted to buy a die in the hopes of generating more momentum.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay, I'm doing it. 3 die,
Do it.
focus applied, engineering, daring.
And I'm assisting.
Well,
Oh, that's a 19. Spicy.
Alvarez
Okay, here.
still manages it.
Oh, okay.
But Mora, you can roll to assist if you'd like.
Come on.
Well, I'll take the 1 roll that you get there, so that is a 3. That will earn you back a point of momentum. And that will crack open what appears to be an empty sick bay.
By empty, do you mean empty of like personnel or equipment?
Personnel.
Okay.
There are, in contrast to the Aegis, this is a sort of more blocky arrangement with biobeds arrayed out in a regular status, more jagged edges to the walls, low lighting, harsh designs.
Very different to a Starfleet medical bay. Like Xanto's just like, why would they have so many jagged edges? Surely that just causes more problems. And what's with these biobeds? They're terrible. What is going on with this design?
Yep.
And then he'll snap back. Like,
Let's worry about the aesthetics of the room later. If
I'm
there's
looking around for any
if
signs
there's a
of
medical
conflict.
emergency, it's not here.
Yeah.
yes, sorry.
Any signs of conflict here? I'm looking for the telltale signs, even if it might have been scrubbed. It's unlikely, but...
Well, from the earlier check, I'm not saying that
Got it.
I don't think there's anything else that particularly stands out. Though there does seem to be an active terminal near the biobed here.
Xantar would like to go to that one.
Anyone understand Klingon?
Do we have a translator?
The translator does come as part of your standard equipment.
Okay, grand. We have translators. We're good. But yeah, Xantar would like to try and access the terminal and go into the medical records to see if he can shed some light into what's happened here.
Right. Xantar, give me one more roll here. This will be a control plus, well, let's call this actually reason plus medicine to
That
search
works.
through the records. Remora, I am going, well, no, not anyone here. I'm actually going to ask simultaneously, in a moment here, Leighton, please have a daring plus engineering ready. For Leighton's roll, that will be difficulty 2. Xantar, in your case, I will also give you a 2 for this.
If I may, Zach, I'd like to apply a talent,
What would that
which
be?
is field medicine. It says when attempting a medicine task, you may ignore any increase in difficulty for working without the proper tools or equipment. Would I be able to apply this here?
It's a loose application, but I think I'll allow it. I will reduce your difficulty to 1.
Thank you. All right. Ooh, that's good.
I'm
on fire.
going to spend a momentum if I can for this.
Well, 1 will be coming. 2 are technically coming in off of Xantar's roll. So,
Jury rigging, environmental systems, emergency repair.
Yep.
And then you know what? Sure, let's do that.
Oh boy. Let's see. Panda, just for the task there, since this is restarting the ship, would you like to at least succeed at cost?
Yeah, sure.
And then for your complication there, would you like to...
Let's do narrative. I want to do narrative. We haven't done narrative in a little bit. Let's do
Very
narrative.
well.
Go narrative.
Narrative.
Yeah.
With success at cost, I'm going to elect to build upon that as well. So, yes, I will.
Oh no.
All right. So, Xantar, you start rifling through, and you see that there are a very small handful of medical files that are available here. They all appear to be audio files of different sorts. And I'd say that a good... there is actually a pretty large stretch in some parts of them. Are you looking for a particular file or a particular bit of information?
Anything recent specifically, or might have happened. Anything that could have led to any sort of explanation about what may have happened here, or if they found any mention of like a strange viscous liquid, like the same that I picked up, or something.
Okay. Yep. The last file comes on, and it's actually like you start rifling through. It looks as though it looks as though going through that the information like there is a gap between the last file, which seems to have been recorded 3 weeks prior.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one before that is almost as many months. So there is a pretty significant gap in medical logs. It is during this time, Leighton, that after rewiring a few things, you think that you have made the proper connections and start finding ways to reinitialize the matter-antimatter reaction. That'll get set here, but as we intercut with you starting to feel like you have some success, an exhausted voice plays out. We never should have embarked on this battle. The captain has made many gambles in her time, and if we had succeeded, the House of Gurath would have commended us so well. The Empire would have commended us. We might well have houses of our own. I think I always knew this wasn't the way, though. Without death, life is of no meaning. But this way of life ensures that death comes with no honor. None that we could earn back. This was a mistake. I will not let records of this proceed. I am cutting from main computer everything I can. Let this not be repeated. One cannot, should not control life. Some interplay of sounds, things that the GM cannot fully vocalize, come out. Xantar, you are uncertain as to exactly what you are listening to. There's at once sound of some sort of gurgling, some bubbling, something else, like there's sounds of almost, you would guess, struggle of like something moving through, moving around a chair, or maybe something clattering. That you look around, you notice that there are a couple tools that have been knocked askance, but as the noises get louder and louder, they cut away completely, and the remainder of the track is utterly silent. Elsewhere, Leighton, the final flip of a switch and press of buttons allows the reactors to come back online. The twin reactors set up around you begin to glow, and power begins to pump back through the engines. You're relatively certain now that the Raptor, though not capable of going to warp, is at least relatively functional.
He will key into communications on his helmet. Power's back online. Systems are running nominally.
Thank you, Specialist Leighton. If the power is able to hold, meet us up on the bridge.
Aye, sir.
And Xantar will turn to the rest of the team.
Before you do that,
Oh, no.
Xantar, go ahead and say your bit on the in the sick bay.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure exactly what was on that log, but let's see if we can piece a few things together. I think the next logical point here is to head to the bridge and see what information we can find there.
I'm in agreement with you.
Xantar will start making his way towards the door.
That was an unusual recording you listened to.
Yes.
Not one that calms me.
Nor I. I wonder what that Klingon might have been talking about. Control of a life?
Within a few minutes, as you begin your egress, Leighton, you start putting together your kit back together with one of the Makos checking in. We good to go here, Specialist?
He's just sort of like, he's already created a mess, trying to reroute things, take things apart, get move things around, and he's just putting tools back into his box. Give me a minute.
Right. He directs to the other Mako and says, "Go ahead, keep an eye here. I'm going to just glance down the corridor and make certain that everything's all set. Rendezvous with our team. He'll continue over audio as he opens the door. We'll get set to rendezvous with the team and maybe check in with Aegis. I'll say I don't like an empty Klingon ship any more than I like a audio goes out.
There's the pause. And he looks up.
The other Mako, looking towards the door, readies her rifle.
He grabs his pistol and just like watches the door as he like one-armedly tries to like finish putting away his stuff, but not looking away from the door.
Mm-hmm. She's going to come down into a position at a crouch by that.
Is there another way out of here?
There is a ladder that would take you either down into the subdeck or like into some sort of gantry in the deck above. It's not a stable connection.
He will whisper very quietly to his comm specialist to Doctor.
Go ahead, specialist.
We lost a Mako. We are currently pinned in the reactor pit.
What? What is the cause?
Don't know. We lost signal.
I see. Very well. We will reroute to your location. Try to stay put, but if you have to get out of there, make a run for it.
Let me just take a look at one thing here.
He will signal, like gesture with an arm, his spare arm, in the direction of the ladders, and I'm sure the Mako's trained enough not to move her head. So, is it a nod or shake of her head, like we're leaving or we're staying here? Because she's the Mako, he's just a engineer.
I would say that she's about to direct you towards the ladder when the door opens and she raises her arm in a fist to hold, whilst readying both arms on her phaser, like on her particle rifle.
Mm-hmm.
The Mako appears back through the door, and he slumps forward, his helmet cracked with a blade, what appears to be a mek'leth.
He will. The specialist to Doctor.
Go ahead.
We have a live Klingon aboard.
Just one?
One would hope.
Very well. We'll be with you shortly.
The Mako edges just forward enough. Phaser pistol, or rather particle rifle. The Mako edges forward. Particle rifle raised. Closes just over to check.
He's trying to support, so he will approach a little closer, but just very, very edging. He doesn't want to endanger her or compromise her her focus. So he's just trying to be supportive.
Yeah, just in a low voice. He's gone.
Should we get out of here?
We need to go now. Yeah, as she slowly backs away from the door, there is the heavy sound of boot prints in the corridor outside.
He will like slowly move, like wind around to get to the door controls, and just do an emergency seal of that door.
Then, at that moment, she goes for the communication panel on that. Boarding party to Aegis. Boarding party to Aegis. And Leighton, with that buzzed over to your helmet, you are getting the telltale signs of interference on your mics.
We need to get to the bridge. I can make something to pierce the interference, or at least figure out what's going on.
She glances down at the Mako. Way is not safe. We climb down, we take the subdeck, and then we climb back up through.
At least if we can get to communication systems in some form or another, I can figure something else either.
Might get to the pod that way too. Let's go.
He will. He'll say one moment and just use his phaser set to maximum, and just seal use it as a blowtorch and just seal the door more completely.
The moment, Leighton, that you try to fire your phase pistol, you find that it will not go off.
Phase is jammed.
And the door reopens.
Yep.
We cut away. Xantar, your away team is running back down the... you find now there is an operational lift system. You can attempt that if you would like. You can continue down the gantryways. What would be your preference to rejoin your half of the crew?
Which would be quicker?
The quickest way would probably be the lift system. That could get you back down to the main deck.
It also mean we may get trapped, just in case.
That is a distinct
I'm not
possibility.
giving you any ideas, Zach. No, quickest way would take the lifts. I want to get there as soon as possible.
All right. So let's see. You do exactly. You aim to do exactly that. Proceeding down the lifts. Are any of you readying yourselves for the? Are any of you readying yourselves in a particular way, or Xantar? Do you want the I guess I should say, Xantar, you've pulled the crew and are trying to get them to return to the main deck as quickly as possible to rendezvous with the rest of them. The question would be, are you taking any particular measure? Does anyone try to interject? Mora, Alvarez, Remora?
I mean, I've got my phase pistol out at this point.
Yep.
Are we going down the ladder or a lift?
Lift.
Lift.
I'm gonna push in front and pull out my disruptor
Hardcore
pistol and a pulse grenade, one in each hand.
Oh, okay.
Weapons ready.
Yeah, weapons ready. Pick a best position based on the lift's design. If I think it would be better to crouch, I will, but, sometimes you want mobility, so I think I'll just probably pick a good position and rifle is up.
Okay.
Pointed down, though, so I can bring it up, just in case this is peaceful.
Yep. I mean, there's always a chance. So you arrive.
Probably not, but
You arrive on the main deck. The corridor appears to be empty.
Okay, we'll head towards the main engineering.
As you make your way down there, Remora Kirari, I'm just going to use the first name here. You notice on the ground ahead of you there, the light from your helmet and from the room, now that main power is working again, you pick up signs of what appear to be sort of fragment of some sort of a transparent material. Something a bit glassy, that is to say.
Who picks that up?
You do.
I do. I immediately gesture to it and point at it so that the doctor can see it, because I know he's been testing material like that. And then I'm going to just scan the ceiling, see if there's any on the ceiling or on the walls.
Oh no, the GM has gone quiet.
Xantar, a quick look at that tells you that, like from your analysis, the material suggests it is an EV suit helmet, or that is to say, fragments of an EV suit helmet.
Fragments of an EVA suit. Where did it come from?
Does it look like there was a fight in here?
Is there any blood on the ground at all? Or on the walls or on the ceiling?
Oh, those helmets don't shatter so easily. And you get a sense of the exact source as the door opens and a tall, broad-shouldered Klingon steps through, bloodied mek'leth in one hand and a closed fist ready in the other.
Firing.
Steps. Xantar, you attempt to fire your phase pistol in a panic. Nothing fires off. No beam of energy emits from it.
He'll quickly check the power core. Is the power core still working?
Something is... the power core appears active. Something, however, is presently working against it, it seems. Or there must be some other source of interference.
Something's interfering with our weapons.
So what is going on with the Klingon? Like bloody and whatnot. Can they see the other side of the room or what?
Oh, he can definitely see down the hall. If you're looking through, then I would say that you notice signs of at least 2 more Klingons, and
Shit!
One struggling with a Mako who has been disarmed at this point, and the other.
Yeah, she's alive.
Yeah, the other presently wrestling with the engineer. I'm going to say, Panda. He's.
I have a fitness 10. I have a fitness 10 and a security of 2, I think.
He's putting up. He's putting up his damnedest.
Yeah, he's a very broad. He's a dwarf. He's a very broad guy. So, yeah.
He's wide as he's tall, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But from in all of this, you don't realize that the door on the other end of the corridor has come open, and that yet 2 more Klingons approach. You're actually first prompted, Xantar, when you hear the dragging of metal against the grates on the floor, as one of them, with a determined look and their face drenched in sweat, approaches the bat left to the floor.
Oh. At least they're smaller than the other one.
Yeah.
She has her blade in a readied position. And just begins speaking to you in Klingon, and the translator kicks into your ear. Surrender now, and die quickly. Do not. And she smiles broadly. And you shall know we are the masters of life and death. And that is where we are going to cut today's session.
Well,
Crap.
Yep.
Hooray! First away mission. Look at that.
Great.
And that's how Zenta got us all killed.
Yep.
Whatever did happen to that away team we sent on board that Klingon ship? Wow.
Well,
You don't.
well,
You don't want to know,
new
Captain.
sweep-
You don't want to know.
New sweep of support characters. Let's go.
Yeah.
But
Listen,
we
I
needed to clear
just
out the deck. The deck here,
No, this
you
is
know.
this is like everyone else dies except for Cheesy and Xantar. That's it.
listen. All I want for the last 3 months is to have a conversation with the captain. For the love of God, I beg you.
Yes. Well, we gotta save the conversation. That's the spookiest part of this. But no, we've got to get through this spooky little adventure too. So, for those of you in the archive, this is where we will leave off. If you would ever like to join us in one of these games, then feel free to drop by. Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be happy to have you along. Until then, have a good rest of your day. Okay, we are wrapping the stream now. I am going to see about where to send us. Not sure if anyone's active. V might be on, so I might send us their way. Let's see, they're not. How about... I'll drop us in on... oh, looks like Cinnabon's running some Dead by Daylight.
I gotta roll, so I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, sure.
Same
See ya.
here. Out of here.
Matter.
I'll dispatch the raid off here. Until then, you folks have a good rest of your day. We'll get this going. Where is... I need to get to the stream manager and queue up the raid. But yeah, keep up to date on our social media. We will possibly be still well, we may or may not do something next week. I'll figure out something and have you up to date on that. So let's see. No particular message here. Just gonna send us off. See you folks around. Okay. All right, guys. The stream is